Joseph Campbell, in his book, The Hero's Journey, and also in his other book, The Hero with a Thousand Faces, Joseph Campbell looked at myths all over the world and came up with a narrative that he calls the hero's journey. The hero's journey, in essence, is the hero is called to an adventure. They meet all sorts of obstacles, and to overcome these obstacles, they must learn new skills. Now, usually they learn these new skills by meeting a teacher or a mentor who can guide them along the way and can teach them all these skills. And then they meet different mishaps and different things along the way, and they overcome all these temptations in order to carry on and go for the mission. Then at some point they fall into an abyss, or they have what's called the dark night of the soul, and they get a symbolic death and a rebirth. This is sometimes displayed as they give up or they lose faith, and then often in especially in movies, the mentor shows up and gives them a little pep talk or whatever, and gives them some guidance and renews their enthusiasm, and then they go off and they defeat the obstacle, whatever it is they're after. So in and then when they return, they're all celebrate, they're all celebrated as being winners and heroes and things. So if we look at movies, and one of my favorite movie channels is the Hallmark Channel, and from a business point of view, it's a brilliant operation that they have. They've looked at a specific niche market, and they make movies only for that niche market. But what's interesting about their movies is they follow the hero's journey to a T. So in the typical movie, there's a guy and a girl, and let's just give you an example. The guy's got three problems. He's disorganized, he dresses messy, and he has no direction in life. And then he bumps into the girl of his dreams, and he wants to go have a relationship with her, but she's like, this guy's a mess. I don't want anything to do with him. So then he meets a guy that says, if you just clear up your act, you can get this girl. And then he goes and he learns how to be organized. He's well dressed. He goes and follows up on the career that he ditched before because he lost interest in it. And then he continues to pursue the girl, and then they start falling in love, and they start having a relationship. And then the girl says, well, I'm taking a job in another city, and I'm going to leave. I'm going to go off, and I'm going to go off to Never Land, and I'm going to go take my job. And of course, he falls back into his abyss, and he gives up. Oh, the world's coming to an end because the girl of my dreams is moving away. So then he gets a pep talk from his mentor or his guide, or he finds his talisman, it's sometimes called. And they convince him, go to the airport and plead your case. So he runs off to the airport, and he meets her, and she's there debating whether I want to go or not. And she says, oh, I've decided not to go on this trip. I'm going to stay here, and I'm going to follow my career over here instead of going to this other city. And then they live happily ever after. And this pattern shows up in all different types of movies. It shows up in Star Wars. Luke is met by he comes out, he's a jerky kid at the beginning, and he picks up some droids, and the droids say go to Obi-Wan, and he goes to Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan knows who he is, and he says, oh, you should be a Jedi, Luke. And he's like, oh, I don't know anything about that. So he becomes his mentor, and then he goes off, and the one mentor dies or gets killed, and then he meets another mentor, Yoda, and then he meets a bunch of problems along the way that he has to overcome, and then at some point he's like, oh, I don't know if I can do this, and then Yoda comes and says, or I guess Obi-Wan comes and says, use the Force, Luke. And he turns off his things, and he goes and he destroys the Death Star, and he's the big hero, and then they're celebrated for the hero. So we see this hero's journey stuff show up all over the place. Now, it shows up in our lives too. This is a theme of the universe. So the hero's journey shows up in our lives. We're met with challenges, and often we have to find a guide or a mentor to help us learn new skills. And then, we overcome the obstacles along the way. And then at some point we go through what's called the dark night of the soul. We fall into this abyss and we want to give up. And then, the mentor or the guide or some talisman shows back and gives us renewed energy, a renewed vigor and motivation. And then we go back and we go and we conquer our challenge, and we become the hero of our life. And this can happen over the course of your lifetime, or this can happen in the course of 10 minutes. So it really doesn't matter. There's a colleague of mine who does astrological forecasting, and she looks at your astrological chart, and she charts your hero's journey, what your life purpose is through astrology. It's really pretty fascinating. So treat life like a movie and overcome these obstacles. Use meditation to help you on your journey. And let me be your guide into learning these essential skills in order to help conquer some of these obstacles that you're learning. Treat your life as an adventure, face these obstacles head on, and be the hero in your life.